Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Lisa, the art teacher. Welcome back to summer session week 2. And this week, we're camping. I don't know if you knew this, but I was once a Girl Scout leader. And we used to go camping all the time. And out of all the things we did while we were camping, my favorite thing was roasting marshmallows over a campfire. If you've never done that, it's a really great experience, and the marshmallows are pretty yummy too. Well, in honor of camping and my favorite thing, roasting marshmallows, we're going to make an indoor fire so we can roast pretend marshmallows indoors. And this is what it's going to look like. This is going to be our campfire. We're going to use a paper plate, some tissue paper, some twigs from outside in the yard, and a little cotton ball for our marshmallow because we're going to roast it over the fire. So if you're ready to get started to roast some marshmallows, that is, let's see all the things we need. Here we go. Okay, here are the materials we're going to need to get started. We're going to need a paper plate. That's going to be the base of our campfire. We're going to need 3 colors of tissue paper. Yellow, red, and orange, because those are the colors you're going to find in a fire when it's roaring. We're going to need a cotton ball. That's going to act as our marshmallow. You're going to need about maybe 6 twigs to build your campfire and 1 longer stick to roast your marshmallow on. You'll put the marshmallow at the end of your stick and roast it over the fire. We're going to need some watercolors, a brush to paint them on, a nice clean cup of water, and a glue to put everything together. I don't want you to worry about not having any of this supplies because I'm sending it home with you, so not to worry. All right then, let's get started building our fire. Okay, since we're not building a real fire, what we want to do is we want to try to create what looks like a real fire. So we're going to start by painting our paper plate. And we have to imagine it's going to be around dirt and grass. So what colors do you think we'll be using? Did you say greens and browns? Well, if you said that, you're absolutely right. And we could also add some blacks. But you know what? You could be as creative as you want. If you want it to be red, then that's your choice. You can make it red. But for the demonstration, I'm going to paint around the plate green and in the center a little bit more brown and some black. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and get it wet so I can wake up the watercolors because watercolors react to water. And I'm going to start with the green of my palette, make it nice and wet, and just start painting around the outside of the paper plate. Doesn't have to be perfect. We don't want it to be perfect. We want to leave a little bit of the white showing through because maybe we're going to add a little yellow, different colors, make it look a little bit more realistic so it doesn't look so flat. So I'm putting all the green on, and I'm going to go back in and I'm going to wake up my yellow on my palette and just go over a little bit on the spots where we missed with the green just to give it a little life and make it look like it's not just a flat paper plate being painted green. Okay, because if you sit at the grass, sometimes you see that there's yellow spots where it gets a little drier. Now in the center of the plate, I'm going to start adding some browns because when you're building a fire, you want it to be in dirt. This way there's less things to set on fire. It's safe in dirt. Grass could set fire if it's dry, so it's best that you work in the dirt when building a campfire. And there's a lot of safety regulations you have to follow when you're building a campfire. You have to stay a certain distance away from the fire. You don't want to get burnt by any of the flying embers. Sometimes people use rocks to go around the campfire. So if that's the case, let's pretend that there's rocks and we'll add some blobs of black to look like little boulders of rocks. And we'll add some brown in between. Give it a little bit more of a realistic look. Give the black blob some depth by adding the brown. So let me clean my brush and go back into the brown. And again, you're painting this any way you choose. Don't worry about what Miss Lisa's doing. Be creative. You do it any way you want. This is only a suggestion, okay? But this gives it a look like it's a real campfire. Rocks around in a circle, the grass around that, and the dirt inside. So now we need to let this dry because we're going to need to glue on our twigs. So let's hold off and let this dry and I'll come right back. Okay, boys and girls, my plate is completely dry now. So what we need to do is we need to take our tissue paper, our red, yellow, and orange tissue paper, and we want to make it look somewhat like a fire. So what you're going to do is we're going to first layer the tissue paper. We could start with the red on the bottom. We'll put the orange next and yellow right on top. Okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to take the very center of everything here. The very center, turn it upside down, grab the center, pinch it a little bit, making sure you have all the colors. While holding on, push up because we want to create almost like a bouquet. Like it looks like a bouquet of tissue, but it's going to resemble a roaring fire. Sort of like the one we've already made. You see how that looks? It looks like a roaring fire. It's pinched down at the bottom, and then what we do at the bottom there is we're going to fold this over on the side. You see how it looks like that? Because this is the piece that we want to glue to the bottom of the plate. So this gives us something to glue to the plate with. So you've pinched it, brought it up like this, squeezing the bottom, and now we're going to glue this piece to the very center of our paper plate, which is going to be our center for the fire. So get your glue, whether you have a glue stick or liquid glue. I think I might use a glue stick for this, only because it'll stick faster than if I was using the liquid glue. But if I was making this for keeps, I would use the liquid glue because it holds better longer. So now I'm going to stick this right in the center of my paper plate. Maybe you have to bend it a little bit to make sure it's staying upward. All right, you see how this is glued on? You can see it all the way around. And now it looks like the fire. So now here's where our twigs come in. If this was a real fire, they would be logs. And what we want to do with the twigs is we want to glue them down around our fire, almost like in a triangular shape. Let me show you the one that's already made. You see how it's almost like a triangle? Okay? And you just layer them. Once you layer the first layer, then you can just lay it right on top of the first stick. So you want to glue those in place. I'm going to glue mine in place while you do yours, okay? And for this, I'm going to use liquid glue because there's no way that the glue stick is going to work on this. You can rub the glue with your finger to create a less of a gluey mess. I have extra glue, so I'm just going to stick it right there. And this might take a little while to dry. Don't be afraid, though, to use a lot of glue because you really want to make sure this is going to stick. Okay? And always remember, push your tissue up if you need to. I'm gluing all mine. Here and over here. Don't be afraid to make a mess. Double layer. It's going to take a little while to dry. But you know what you could do while it's drying? You could roast a marshmallow. Okay? A make-believe marshmallow, that is. So I'm layering the second set of twigs right over the first set of twigs. Okay? And I want to give you a different view of this so you could see. Hold on. So you can see underneath where I've layered the twigs. I didn't skimp on the glue because I want to make sure this is going to stick for good. Lift up the fire so we can see. Okay? Now the next thing we need to do is get our marshmallow on our stick. This is going to be the easiest part. Remember I said we need 1 long stick and 6 short little twigs. So the long stick is where we're going to put our marshmallow on, which is in this case a cotton ball. I'm going to stick it right on the tip. You might have to push it down. Sometimes the cotton separates. Don't worry about it. Just push it through and kind of just form it with your finger. And again, we're going to glue it in place so it doesn't fall off the stick. So you can have this forever. And you can pretend to be roasting marshmallows at your campfire forever and ever. Okay? So now I'm sticking this back on. And now, whoops. It's time to roast the marshmallow. Can't wait till it's done. It comes out really tasty and gooey, ooey gooey. So boys and girls, if you get a chance to really go out and make a campfire, see if you can go with somebody. You're really going to enjoy it. You know what else we do around the campfire? We sing. And that was a lot of fun too. We would sing and eat marshmallows, sing and eat marshmallows, and have just good old-fashioned fun. So, that's it. We're done with our little campfire. I hope you enjoyed it. Use your imagination while you're roasting. Just have fun. That's all. Just have fun. This is Miss Lisa, your art teacher, saying ciao for now, and I'll see you next week for summer session week 3. What are we doing? I can't wait to find out. Bye-bye.